We are FartKnight gamers, mobile players, paywall haters, entertainers, hot as lasers. Tell your neighbor, do a favor, you should subscribe, and you'll see more. Knighlightning, he's not lightning, so enlightening, not so frightening. Hit like, and you'll see more. Who farted? He's who farted, not faint-hearted, nor outsmarted. Let's get started.
Hello there, I'm Knighlightning, and I am joined by the infamous LittleFinger tonight. How you doing, LittleFinger?
How's it going there, Knighlightning?
Excellent. Unfortunately, Who Farted is still on vacation, unable to join us, but we will carry on in his honor and in his name. We are discussing the big thing that happened, the big Hero 6 that dropped into this game. And also stay tuned because we will be revealing for the first time ever on any channel Baymax's alternate costume.
I can't wait.
All right, so disclaimer. We do have bad language on this channel and usually pretty offensive content, so that is not your bag, baby. I suggest go to somebody else's channel. And if Who Farted was here, he would say if you have little kids in the room,
Earmuffs.
check those earmuffs. Yes. So check out the timestamps in the description below. So if you want, you don't have all the time in the world, you can zip right to your favorite part of our show. So LittleFinger, let's get into it.
Let's start with the very beginning. Let's start with Fred.
All right. So Fred, look, we're not going to do a whole breakdown in the kits here. Lots of other channels have done it. If you want to see footage of people using these teams, again, go somewhere else. But I'm telling you right now, we're going to break down for you the scariest, most intimidating parts of all of these characters, the highlights, if you will. So, what to you in Fred's kit scares you?
I would have to go with his passive ability.
Okay, it's Fred time. So, is it the whole intimidation part? What's the thing in the passive that
I would say with him, absolutely. Intimidate definitely does help with all the teams. For him, actually, especially in for the big Hero 6. To put Intimidate on a character.
Yeah, what's interesting is that you're intimidating the character with the lowest health, so you're kind of further disabling someone who's already messed up. And as we've seen, Cobra Bubbles already uses this ability and was the first to introduce it. And I was kind of skeptical when I first read that ability, but it does change the way matches flow. So I completely understand you saying his passive ability is definitely something to look out for here. For me, the I Breathe Fire special is like got all sorts of shit going on. Like at level 2, you increase the damage of this by 30%, and you're hitting everybody on the field. You're inflicting blind on target opponent with a 30% chance to inflict blind on all other opponents.
Does sound dangerous.
So, and here's the thing you have to remember. With Hero's kit, he's already adding evasion and shield. So it's hard to hit these characters to begin with. But you add on blind. You know, you're blind trying to hit characters that have evasion. You're just punching air like half the time you're fighting these guys. So it's a real pain in the ass.
Which is also going to be great because now that if they're blinded, then if they miss, Hero has another chance to add another evasion on top of that.
Yeah, it's really nice the way that could work out. I really like this too. The inflict 1 continuous damage per 2 charges on him. So I think he can get a maximum of 8 charges. So, so you can hit the whole field with 4 continuous damage hits. That is insane.
Would it be 8 that he's allowed, or he's allowed 8 total, right?
He gets 8 charges, and you have to consume 2 charges for each 1 continuous damage.
But Hero adds charge counters, so basically it's refreshing constantly. So it's constantly hitting them with fire.
Yeah,
every -4, but you're getting an extra one every time.
Exactly, and you guys will see the kits are all about getting more and more charges. So getting 8 charges should not take very long.
Nope, absolutely not.
It makes me wonder if people are going to use Fred as a build, as a plug and play, almost in for continuous damage teams. Like, could you imagine you have Hades inflicting continuous damage, you have Demona, you have Fred doing it now, and maybe you use Madam Mim to start spreading out all those extra continuous damages, and then I don't know. I think that could be a really cool niche team. I think some people will start playing around with.
I think Cobra Bubbles also added in there would be a nice little another person also who could keep continuously inflicting damage.
Oh, well, you mean just in terms of like shutting down purges? Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's a good point, because you can spread all these debuffs all you want, but if you get people on the field who can eliminate those debuffs, then it's all for naught. So Cobra Bubbles can be great because his kit is a wide variety of moves, including silence. So you can stop that stuff right in its tracks.
Absolutely.
So who should we talk about next?
Let's go with ladies first. So let's go with Honey Lemon.
Honey Lemon. So I think we both know what the crazy part of her kit is, and it's freaking
Definitely
kit.
the passive.
Yeah, 100%. It's a passive. So her passive, on a teammate receiving a harmful effect, there's a 30% chance to flip it to a helpful effect. So it's not even negating a negative effect. It's turning a negative into a positive, quite literally, and granting them defense up. And to add on top of that, when it's the start of a teammate's turn, 30% chance to grant them haste. But here's the sick thing. That's not just for Big Hero 6. That's any teammate. That's like summon spells. That's like Kristoff's trolls. That's like every
Right
single
away.
teammate could gain haste. But if they're Big Hero 6, you grant them 1 magic ability. And here's the sick thing. Her passive only costs 1 magic, so it means it's going to be happening a lot.
Absolutely.
This passive really, God, this is nuts. I feel like this is the Big Hero passive 6.
I think that Hero actually just constantly, who they want to give 100% turn meter, constantly would be her, and she would be just doing that one ability over and over again.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is that he doesn't even need to speed her up because it affects every character's turn. But you are right in that the fact that Hero himself grants haste and grants turn meter gives her that passive more chances to actually activate. So pretty crazy. If she didn't even do anything, basic specials, whatever, just stood there with her passive, I feel like that would be enough for using her as a slot in the Big Hero 6 crew. What do you think?
Absolutely.
So you said ladies first. So
Let's go with Go-Go.
Let's go with Go-Go. Okay. So what's the thing that stood out to you in Go-Go's kit?
I'd have to say for Go-Go, I mean, other than her passive, I'd say her special is probably completely amazing.
This one I'm thinking, right?
Yep. Deal up to 26 damage to target opponent. And if it's in a row, so let's say there's 5 people, she is stealing 5 speed meters from each of those people in that row. So we are talking about an estimate. Let's say there's about the whole thing of Frozen team of 5 people in a row. We're talking about 25 right there with the assist of Hero. She's getting 35. We're talking about her as the fastest character probably in this game.
Yeah, you're completely right about that. Because if we look at her base, right, I do not have this character unlocked. At tier 1, this character has 115 speed, and if you factor in Hero's leadership, just at a tier 1, she's basically, she's probably the fastest in the game when you factor everything in. It's completely nuts. The fact, too, to your point, you can't even think of a row or flanking as just 2 or 3 people. You got to factor in the summons, trolls, the cauldrons, the buckets of soldiers, the shadows, all that shit. Raja, there's so many characters that could be
Absolutely.
in a row. And this is a new thing. We've had speed meter removal in the past, but we've never had someone stealing it. So she's supercharging her speed. She's slowing down the team. And here's the crazy part. She's kind of designed to do additional damage to summoned opponents. At level 2, she deals 30% bonus damage to summoned opponents. So she's hitting a row. If it's your cauldrons and your trolls and your shadows and whatever that's summoned to the field, not only is she making them slower, she is killing them faster. So she's like a specialist at getting rid of or nerfing summoned characters. It's really fascinating. Kind of makes you want to really have to check what spells you run against the Big Hero 6 team. But we'll get into that in a minute. So who are we going to talk about next?
All right. Well, we talked about the ladies. We did Fred. Let's go with the final person. Let's go with Wasabi.
Okay, Wasabi. The Green Man himself. Now, let me ask you. We were talking about Zerg earlier. Is Zerg shooting tennis balls, or are they Wasabi balls?
I would have to go with Wasabi balls.
That's a spicy Wasabi ball.
That's a spicy meatball.
Exactly. So, what in Wasabi's kit is intimidating to you that you're afraid to match up against in PvP?
I would have to go with, I'm telling you right now, this whole Big Hero 6 is probably all amazing and past. Now, this one right here is the character attacking ignores 10% of target defense. Now, we all know that a lot of teams have good defense who are like tanks, who is Simba, we have Kristoff. Now you got to think. Thank goodness they make a character right now. I have not seen anybody like this. He's the first one where I think he could actually shred through these people pretty quick. What do you think about Knighlightning?
Well, that's the thing. He as you level him up, he keeps shredding more. It's interesting that his final ability here is he's guaranteed a critical strike if somebody has shield. So this is interesting scenario because theoretically he could hurt someone more if that person had shield than if they didn't have shield. Giving shield to a character might be the wrong move if you have Wasabi on the other side of the aisle.
He sounds like an opposite Shan Yu, actually, to me, but just with the shield part he needs to really hurt somebody.
And look, he starts chewing through people who have benefits. So like here, his You Wanna Dance, he gets an increased damage against people with helpful effects, Frozen, also in Hero 6, but also if there's taunt or if the person has shield, even more damage. So it's 30% extra damage on top of ignoring X% of defense. I love more than anything though his Green Blades of Fury special. I'm sorry, but and this is why we were talking about Zerg before this video started, was dealing damage to an opponent 10 times is pretty wicked. As opposed to the rest of Big Hero 6 where you have all these AoE abilities, Wasabi seems to be like the single target damage guy. And I could see people running characters that give him offense up or guaranteed crit chance. So just to unload these 10 attacks. And I really appreciate that there's somebody else in the game besides Mickey and Zerg who could fuck Dash up.
I agree. I am tired of seeing Dash and all of his counters on him and running loose all over the place.
Yeah, so I appreciate the fact that it's more characters who can nerf Dash, so to speak.
What else do you think Knighlightning is pretty interesting with Wasabi?
Well, I think it's just the whole package, right? Because it's all what's nice is that it synergizes together. You know, it's ignoring defense, it's additional damage against people with helpful effects. He also gets to give himself some benefits as he's shredding through people. So, we're going to have to see how it actually plays out, but in actual matches. But I think there's a lot of potential here. But here's what I want to say, just as a caveat. I know there have been videos going around of Big Hero 6 fighting Frozen teams and losing. Here's the thing. There are two things to consider. Number one, people are still figuring out the optimal team to run because we have 6 total characters. We have 5 new ones in the game, and we have Hero. So we're not entirely sure what the best team is yet. We're not sure what the best ideal turn order is for the team. If you can,
They're very new.
So there's still a lot of experimentation on. The fact that you can even get anywhere close to beating these crazy tier 7.5 Elsa teams is impressive, considering all the updates they made. They made Elsa even stronger somehow. But we don't know exactly what the best strategies are yet. We're still playing around with different things. And here's something else to consider. A lot of these videos you're seeing are the Big Hero 6 punching up. So what that means that they're 7-star, yeah, but they're not necessarily tier 6. They might be tier 5. And they're sure as hell not 7.5. I'm talking about the majority of the videos I've seen out there. Here's the thing. The most important thing is that you have people who spend a little bit of money, medium amount, a lot, and then you have the ultra whale kraken people, okay? Who are the ones putting out the videos of Big Hero 6 tiers 6, 7 already, all right? These people who spent thousands to get this team up and running. The game developers may not care about you and me who are like free-to-play or sort of free-to-play or the medium spenders or low spenders. They do care about making their top tier, that 0.01%, super happy. So I'm telling you right now, if this team is not considered, if this team is not consistently beating Frozen at least 7 times out of 10 in a week or two, I'm telling you right now, they're going to fix this team. They're going to say, oh, they're not working as intended. And they're going to do some hot fix, like give all of them across the board an extra 20% damage or something to make sure they're taking out every team. And there's almost no chance you can take this out. What do you think, LittleFinger? Am I crazy?
I agree. No, absolutely. Because then I think to myself, what's the reason to have 5 new characters if they can't even beat a team or even come close to on the same level as a Frozen team?
Yeah, and this is the biggest paywall team we've ever seen. Because even Frozen, when it first came out, we had what was it, like a week's notice or at least a few days' notice?
Absolutely.
The event hit to start farming these guys up. And I'm sorry, but a double drop of Fred the day it's released, starting at 2 p.m. for that last 24 hours on a node everybody already used, isn't going to help you get there.
Nope.
So they're going to make sure the people who paid for this are still going to stay invested, because a lot of it is investing in the long term of the whale and kraken health in the game. It's like, hey, when you pay $1,000, your investment is worth it. That's what they need to tell people.
We thank you for your service.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, come again. So moving on, let's talk about the star of the show, the big bad dude, Baymax. Now, I know people are a little disappointed that our Stay Puft Marshmallow version of Baymax is not in the game. He does look cool in his outfit, but it would have been nice to at least have something where he can be his normal, cute self. So what in his kit has you scared?
I would have to say it's still the passive. Probably the one with the taunt. I would say it's your personal, where is it?
Healthcare companion.
There you go.
On battle turn start, perform the following game taunt. If it didn't do anything else, you don't really care. And it does a lot more than that. But the fact that we have a taunter whose speed does not matter at the beginning of the match,
Nope.
is a huge deal. That is a pain in the ass. And I could see Baymax potentially being used in other teams or interesting sets of teams. Like you could run 4 offense guys who might be squishier glass cannons because right away, Baymax is taking those hits. Don't even have to take a turn yet. That's pretty nice.
And you know what the annoying thing will be is if you actually run him with hero, he's going to gain evasion, and it's going to be even more of a pain in the ass, especially with the taunt.
Yeah, exactly. And I like this part here where if a big Hero 6 teammate falls below 30% health, he cleanses stun, charm, sleep, and silence from
Sounds
himself,
like a lot.
gains taunt, and restores health. Sounds a little like Kristoff, doesn't it?
It sounds like a Happy Meal all drawn together.
I mean, that's the thing, man. Like, if you're going to come out with a... Kristoff really screwed this game up because where the hell do you go with taunters to outdo that shit? It's fucking ridiculous.
Especially with his cleansing, because then he actually increases his taunt.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little nuts. I mean, at least thank God he's not cleansing when you are just having like a troll die or a hyena or whatever. But you know what? Who knows? If Peter Shadow, that character counts as Big Hero 6, so if a Shadow dies, he might refresh his taunts.
Absolutely.
His second passive is also pretty wicked. If he dies, you cleanse the harmful effects from all teammates. They gain charged. The person with the patient status, which is really good buff, by the way, gains invulnerable. And it's level 2, hero gains 100% turn meter and unstoppable for 2 turns. So here's the thing. Baymax dies, and everybody gets huge benefits. This is kind of like the old Obi-Wan Kenobi in the old Obi-Wan Kenobi thing in Star Wars Galaxy Hero. Character who is great even as they're dying, right? These are not just tech characters. These are downtown heroes. So let's get into this part that I want to discuss. The winners and losers in terms of spells in this game are pretty damn obvious. This is the clear winner. This spell is probably one of the best spells in the game beforehand. I know it's lost a lot of love, but you know what? This team is going to bring it right back. Every single character on this team, they all synergize with each other. They're all downtown heroes. They will all be revived with undefeatable, which means they are unkillable. So Baymax dies, the whole team gets purged, hero gets sped up, healing happens, and Baymax comes back and then can't be killed. And then guess what? The most annoying thing in this game is someone who's taunting that can't be killed. And that's what Baymax does. So the fact that everybody on this team is going to come back with invulnerable is crazy.
Yeah.
So LittleFinger, let me ask you this. Other spell is the clear, I would guess, co-winner to this team?
I would think that a next personal favorite would be Pete's Shadow. Hands down.
Tell me what, yeah.
I would actually say, given Pete's Shadow with Honey Lemon's passive ability, is an easy no-brainer of just completely making a team unstoppable.
That's an excellent point. And I 100% agree. For those who aren't aware, Pete's Shadow, even though it says it only does the basic, it also copies the passive abilities of that character. So if you summon Mickey or Genie, they can assist each other. Dr. Facilier, if you have 5 Dr. Faciliers in the field, they all trigger recoveries for the whole team when somebody dies. But to your point, Honey Lemon, as good as her passive is, has a 30% chance to trigger. As soon as you put 1 copy of her on the field, though, you're getting 2 separate instances of that 30% triggering. So the way to think about it is now that's a 60% chance. And God help you, if you get 3, imagine you basically have a 90% chance to flip debuffs into buffs, grant defense, and on each character's turn, which includes the copied shadows, by the way, you
And the
grant
magic ability.
yeah, you grant them haste.
Basically, they're special. They're back to full again.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And yeah, to your point, 90% chance for it to happen once, but there's a 30% chance this happens 3 times, and you're getting 3 magic charges for all abilities. That is completely insane. I'm sorry, I really don't see an argument for running any set of spells besides Golden Hammer and Peach Shadow with this team. I just don't see it happening.
But
So,
there's one thing
yeah.
I have that just goes through my mind though that I'm thinking of if you've seen the movie, I'd say Big Hero 6, and the same thing with Frozen, you know they have a lot of synergy in Frozen. Like Anna goes with Kristoff really well in cooperation. Kristoff goes with Sven, and Anna goes with Elsa.
Yeah.
The only thing that I'm seeing of a lack or a little bit disappointed in the game is they all give everybody something to key up in each person's area to help them out with positive effects. The only negative thing that I don't see is Hiro and Baymax are the 2 people who are the main, I'd say, characters of the movie. So I don't see any synergy with them of a team effort move. That's the only downfall, I would say.
Well, I see. I guess there's a little bit, but I guess to your maybe there's not enough because you do have this one thing where Hero gets 100% speed meter, but yeah, to your point, Baymax has to die for that to happen.
Right.
Which is a little weird. And Baymax can use patient on him, I guess, but he can use patient on anybody.
I mean, more of an assist I'm talking about, like kind of like an Anna and Elsa to
Well,
assist.
I guess this is it, right? Like you get it at tier 7. If you use patient, if you use the fist and Hero is a patient, you increase the duration of a copied helpful effects by 1. Like to your point, it's like kind of synergizing, not really.
Yeah.
No, I guess they all synergize just because everybody's getting charges, right? Maybe
everybody's just getting ridiculous with
But
they're feeding off each other's moves, basically.
Yeah, what you'd rather see, I guess what you're saying is you should have like almost like a double team move where it's like
exactly like if you saw the movie, he's flying on him. Should be some sort of teamwork with the 2 of them.
Right.
You're just leaving something out.
I agree. That'd be a really great idea actually. If Baymax is at 100% speed meter, then he should have like a special button he can click that waits for a Hero to get 100% speed meter, and if they both are at 100 now, they have like a new the old Chrono Trigger reference, double tech.
Exactly.
That you can pull off. It's like a new move that requires both of them to be ready at the same time. I think that would have been awesome.
Or I think that it should be like when he pulled the chip out of Betamax that he went nuts. I think he should just pull it out, and his last ability would, like special ability, would be like cracked out, Betamax, where he just goes out and just like does like an insane amount of damage like Sven.
You're calling him Betamax?
His name is Betamax, like beat it max.
I think this is a perfect segue to get into the fake news section of our channel. So we have Baymax in the game with his costume, but we are missing some alternate costumes for this guy. Now, this is the form we all know and love. This should be in the game.
But that's not form.
Yeah, but that's not what we're talking about here. There are alternate universes inside the greater Disney multiverse, so to speak. And there are alternate timelines of things that could happen. For example, what happens after the Big Hero 6 movie ends? I mean, he's done fighting crime, perhaps. Maybe he just wants to deliver toys. So he goes to the North Pole and he takes on Santa's job and becomes Slaymax. as Santa Slaymax from the North Pole. Maybe I don't know, he jumps to a beach and sees all these beach babes, and he wants to get all muscled up, and he wants to get rid of that gut. So he starts drinking and using his whey protein powder, and he gets jacked. He hits Gold's Gym hard, starts using the roids and all the growth hormone, and gets built in all the right places. And we get the jacked, tanned, beautifully sweated up Baymax. What do you think?
I think that's pretty damn hot right there.
From Gold's
That's some hot
Gym.
shit.
Now, maybe I don't know, he's got a quiet life, and he's discovering more about himself. He's realizing who he is inside, and there's a part of him he's just denied his whole life. And he's in the downtown area, maybe hanging out in Greenwich Village. He goes to a parade or two.
Maybe he wants to go clubbing.
He wants to go clubbing. So we got Baymax with all the background rainbow disco lights that accompany such a wonderful lifestyle. That could be Baymax, dressing up as the village people.
There you go. Singing some YMCA.
YMCA, yes, exactly.
There you go.
But no, I think it's not going to be Santa Slaymax, regular Baymax, Baymax, or even, yes, Baymax. I think this is what happens. Hiro gets killed at the end.
Hiro gets killed?
Hiro gets killed at the end of Big Hero 6. And he has to get revenge. And Baymax channels his inner barbarian and becomes Baymax the Barbarian, a.k.a. Slaymax from the wilds.
I mean, absolutely. I'd agree with that. His best friend dies. He still has those abs. And now you just give him a sword to finish everything off.
Yes, he has sworn vengeance against those who killed his good friend. So, LittleFinger, talk to me about his basic ability, the sort of ba-la-la-la.
I kind of see this as his Knuckle, giving Knuckles to his buddy Hiro, but instead put a sword in the end of his hand and stabs the guy going, ba-la-la-la-la-la, ba-la-la-la-la, and the guy just going, ugh, ugh. But we're trying to make it a little bit more of a kid-friendly, so we add a little nice music of the ba-la-la to it while we're trying to drown out the screaming.
So is it perhaps he's playing possum? He's just saying, ba-la-la-la, oh, look at this hand over here, while the other hand stabs you with the lantern sword.
Could be going that way.
Now, do you think he does something with the sword of ba-la-la-la? It's got a special power like the Sword of Omens. He just uses it and, screams ba-la-la-la-la, and all the Big Hero 6 characters get, called to action, so to speak. What do you think?
I see this one, I mean, we can't make him too crazy, so I'd say it's probably just a kind of like an Anna ability where he bumps somebody up by 2 attacks for offense.
Gives them haste, something like that.
Yeah, haste with 2 offensive strikes.
I like it. The Wheel of Pain. So, what is this? Is he just grab a character and crunch him into a ball and throw him off a cliff and turn him into a Wheel of Pain? What's he doing here?
I mean, I could see him doing that, ruffling him up and like a bowling ball and tossing him down an alley or down a hill and see how fast he can go. Or, in my mind, I think of it as an Addams Family kind of thing with Morticia, where they're on a torture device and he just keeps twisting that wheel and stretching them out a little bit more.
I see. So he's either wheeling and dealing or bowling for pain.
Or is asking for answers why you killed my friend.
Why you killed my friend? Why?
Why?
His second special is called Crush Your Enemies. So, LittleFinger, what do you think Crush Your Enemies is going to involve?
I think I have to tell you all, in the words of Zangief, it's like he's taking their skull and crushing it on his thighs like sparrow egg. You know what I'm saying?
He takes their skull, puts it between his legs, and crushes him with his.
It crushes him like a sparrow. Yeah, exactly. Even though Betamax is nice and soft and cushy, in this case, remember, he's worked out. He's got muscles. He's not soft anymore. He's out for revenge.
I guess, well, let me ask you this. If Baymax the Barbarian were to grab you and stick your head between his thighs, is your head getting crushed one of the better options available to you while you're down there?
Probably, yeah. I mean, either that or something else is going to kill you that you're looking at.
Oh, terrible. His first passive ability is, I believe it's pronounced. So I'm seeing this as like his war cry, his Arnold Schwarzenegger war cry, where he says, and he's just getting everybody jacked up. The whole team gets like offense up and critical chance guaranteed.
I like that. That actually sounds 100% accurate to what his probably scream is.
Yeah, it's the barbarian rage scream, right? And go into that.
It's like a Braveheart, kind of like that speech, but instead with him, it's just he's just all enraged to just say, everybody just yeah.
Yeah, they can take away your life, but they can't take away your. Now, the actual Baymax in the game has a passive ability called "Are You Satisfied with Your Care?"
I am satisfied with my care.
Now, this, featuring the beautiful Fabio, is called "Are You Satisfied with Your Hair?" So, what do you think this passive ability is going to do?
I'll tell you, this is a good subject that I actually have to tell you that I like a lot, because when I hear that and hair, I think of, if anybody's ever seen the movie Warlock Armageddon, which is the second one, this is where he's driving in a car and picks up a hooker, or we so think she is, and she apparently is trying to hit on him, and she thinks that he turns her down because her hair is a mess. And so what he does is he rips her hair off of her scalp and throws it on her lap and says, "Have a look for yourself." And that's what I kind of see with this one.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That is brutal. That'd be some sick animation right there.
But I think it would also scar the children who ever play this game.
Absolutely. I was thinking Zohan too, right? Like, you know, he just wants to cut hair. And,
He just wants to cut hair, absolutely.
but he's got to do it with his Atlantean magic sword. So maybe he tries to become a barber, but he decapitated one too many people. He took a little too much off the top, so to speak.
He makes sticky, huh? For his customers after they're silky smooth.
Oh, okay. So with that reference, like the Zohan, he takes them in a back room and makes sure they're sensually satisfied as well as silky
Satisfied
smooth.
with their haircuts.
So, okay, let's imagine this animation. He picks them up with his bulky biceps, walks through some cartoon door that slams. We would start hearing some banging on the other side, some noises, maybe some screaming, some lamentation of the women, so to speak. And after he's done, he walks out, calm as a cucumber, cool as a cucumber, and the person comes out with their hair like totally messed up and just walks back with like half their health gone. back to where they started.
I don't know, Knighlightning. I would say if you have a big muscular guy like that, picking you up and putting you into a closet and gonna have your way with you, I think I would just tell him just to kill me before they even pick me up and put me in the room.
Oh my God. All right. Well, listen, I just want to segue. I just want to give a shout out to one of our commenters from our last video, Cobb. We saw your comment. We appreciate the irony that the massive update took place right after our last video, like 4 or 5 hours after that video took place. That changed up some of it, but thank you for that. And I just want to say, hopefully we'll have Who Farted back in house soon. It's not the same without him, but LittleFinger, thank you so much for your participation here. Please like and subscribe to our channel. We are FartKnight Gamers.
We are FartKnight gamers, mobile players, paywall haters, entertainers, hot as lasers. Tell your neighbor, do a favor, you should subscribe, and you'll see more Knighlightning. He's not lightning, so enlightening, not so frightening. Hit like, and you'll see more. Who farted? He's who farted, not faint-hearted, nor outsmarted. Let's get started.